What if buying your next car could actually be enjoyable? At Payless Car Sales, we believe it should be. If you're in the market for your next car, come by and meet our knowledgeable staff and explore our selection of quality vehicles. We offer military discounts, and we give all of our customers Carfax history reports. We can also provide warranties and handle all of your lending needs. Just like driving your car should be enjoyable, so should buying it. Visit us downtown at 919 East 5th Avenue or on our website at paylesssales.com. Payless Car Sales, where Alaskans drive.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
Six minutes past 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Welcome, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Our friends Frank, Becky, and James Earhart over at Earhart Roofing. They're a family-owned business with 17 trucks, 60 employees, 42 years in the roofing business, Earhart Roofing. They're always the lowest bidder. They always do the best job. They can install a roof in your home within 2 days. It's amazing. Industrial, commercial, residential, it doesn't matter. They can handle it all. You will be satisfied. Better Business Bureau Business of the Year. They offer a 50-year warranty on their product. I think that pretty much says it all, doesn't it, folks? 50-year warranty. Frank and Becky Earhart, their son James, give them a call if any of your roofing needs. The number, 345-5555. 345-5555. Earhart Roofing. Our number here on the radio broadcast, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie, is 569-1080. 569-1080. I guess I just woke up this morning, Glenn, as I often do, on the wrong side of the bed.
Whoa.
And
that's shocking.
And I'm realizing, wait a minute now, because I was feeling so good about the Prop 1 victory. You know, give me a week to celebrate, right? Because let me tell you, Glenn, this is something that I really believe. Bonnie, I am absolutely convinced Alaska is on the brink of seeing prosperity like we have never dreamed. I'm talking about mining, timber, ANWR, offshore, NPRA, Pebble Mine, Donlin Creek. It's unimaginable, the potential that lies within this state. We've got to get rid of the leadership in D.C. It starts with getting rid of Mark Begich. We defeated Prop 1, which is a huge hurdle. And now I see the anti-oil populace, the It's Our Oil crowd with the Mother Earth is more important than mankind crowd combining forces. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we got another battle here that could rob us of our destiny in this state. And it makes me mad. I mean, I'm a human. It just makes me, because I am convinced that if the anti-oil, of the let's get rid of the oil industry in the state of Alaska because we're Greenies crowd, and the pea-brained It's Our Oil crowd, if they join forces, they can do some real damage in our state. And the Walker-Malott ticket is the representation of that movement. And then when you figure that all they got to do is beat a guy who literally mumbles as a candidate, then I start to get a little worried, and it pisses me off.
So you don't like the fact that they have a great team?
I don't like the fact that I don't think Bill Walker's any superstar candidate.
No,
but he's
not a
loose
great
with the
candidate.
truth, so it's pretty easy for him to run.
Well, he did, and this is the part where I'm really looking forward to having him back in studio, because he said something
put me straight.
very, very specific to me. And he said it several times, and so I'm not confused on this. I want people to know that I was a big supporter. Bill Walker really loved the fact that I think the guy had vision. He told me specifically, explicitly, the following information, over and over and over again on the radio. The people who buy the gas will fund the pipeline. He told me that specifically, that when you get an agreement from somebody who signs on, somebody in Korea, somebody in Japan, when they sign on to buy your gas, you take that to New York, they turn that into money, you turn that money into a pipeline. That is how a pipeline is built. He told me that several times.
And
It's not true.
No.
It's not true. I want people to know that, look, and when he's on here, and if that turns out to be not true, and I confront him on this is going to be a very, very painful process because, look, I trust this guy for years.
569-1080. 569-1080. Todd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I think there's a difference between ignorant, stupid, and foolish.
Okay.
Ignorance is what I deal with every day as a high school economics teacher.
I'm looking forward to this explanation, by the way. This is a teacher, and he's going to explain the difference between ignorance, stupidity, and foolishness. So this is going to be good.
So, did I define ignorance?
Yes.
Okay. Stupid is someone is presented with information and is incapable of learning that information.
Yes. Very good.
Foolish is when you are no longer ignorant, so you've been presented with the information, you know what could be right, and you choose the other because of some emotional response.
Like envy.
Or
jealousy.
Greed. Or you're following your heart, whatever that means.
Yes. Standing up for Alaskans.
Can we, Todd, in your opinion, can we save any of the people in any of these categories?
I think you can definitely save the ignorant. If I didn't think that, I wouldn't go to work every day.
I agree with you, 100%.
Okay. I do not think you can save the foolish.
Yes.
And
okay, because they've already made a decision, and at this point, pride enters in.
Facts are irrelevant.
They would have to change their person. They would have to diminish themselves in order to accept the truth.
Evil oil industry cannot be trusted, so they can't.
Profits are bad.
Nothing.
They're taking us.
No evidence is going to change their mind.
Okay.
Well, I think they have to have some major life-changing event.
Yes.
I've been foolish
like
before.
Losing a job.
Right. Or losing a spouse, or losing an economy.
Yeah.
But the stupid, I think, can be, and this might sound bad, but the stupid can be used for good and for bad. And they can be brought along, and they can be encouraged to participate in whatever way they can. And the left, I think, uses the stupid very well.
Yes.
I don't think the right does.
No. Well, the left doesn't. The left doesn't have any allegiance to truth. So they can manipulate the stupid much easier when you have no allegiance to truth.
Right. Now, having said that, there are prominent people, young people in this community, and I'm not going to mention names, who have been in my economics class before.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked on ignorance. They are not stupid.
Yeah.
I believe they are fools.
Mm.
Now, can I ask
That's good.
one question here? Where does the skeptical fit in?
The skeptical.
Is that the same thing as foolish? Because I believe the skeptical can be won over, and it's a fourth category that I'm sort of fighting for, the ignorant and the skeptical.
I'm not sure that, I think that might be apples and oranges. I'm not sure we're in the same kind of classification there.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Todd, I'm glad you're on the scene, helping the foolish, ignorant.
Well, I can't help the foolish, but I'm helping the ignorant.
And the stupid.
Thank you, Todd.
All
Appreciate that call.
Bye.
569-1080. 569-1080.
Ignorant people don't know the facts.
Right.
Stupid people are incapable of understanding the facts, so they simplify things to the point at which
it's our oil.
It's our oil, right?
That's all they know.
Which that is stupidity.
That's
and
all
foolish
they know.
People, they know the facts, but for some other reason it overwhelms.
Based on Todd's thing there, can I now give up on the foolish?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not the skeptical, though.
714. Foolish?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Not the skeptical, though.
714.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080 KOAN. On the Talk of the Valley, KV.
prospects by selecting households based on geography, demographics, consumer behavior, and more. Generate tangible, measurable results to better track ROI and enjoy added exposure each month when Valpak teams up with big brands and prominent names.
Check out Valpak Values, Allstate Insurance, Northern Lights Coupon Book, Massage Envy, Scouting Cruise and Holiday Auction, Alaska Car Transport, and dental specials.
Who was the last Alaska governor to see 16,000 new jobs created on his watch? Was it Wally Hickel? Jay Hammond? Bill Egan? The last governor to see 16,000 new jobs is our current governor, Sean Parnell. Alaska is in the middle of a jobs boom. Since Sean Parnell took office, the Alaska economy has produced some 16,000 new jobs. And you can bet there are more jobs coming. Listen to Jim Huffman, president of a trucking company in Fairbanks.
This year we are buying new trucks, hiring new people. I could put 20 truck drivers to work tomorrow if we could find them. I give the credit to Governor Parnell.
Alaska's economy is back on track. 16,000 new Alaska jobs since Sean Parnell became our governor. That's why Parnell 2014, Box 100719, Anchorage, paid for this message.
This is Dr. Ellenberg. Are you tired of taking medications? Do your medications create more side effects than solutions? Do you want more than 15 minutes with your doctor? If you answer yes to those questions, you should consider calling the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine. At our center, we take the time to listen and focus on finding the cause of your health problems. Whether you have a cold, high blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer, we can help. Call the Ellenberg Center for Natural Medicine at 563-2366 or visit us online at drellenberg.com. We can help.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. Give him a call. You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley.
All right, so much to get to today. It's 7:17. Of course, the big forces with the pea-brained It's RL crowd and in the form of a Walker Malott ticket. And they'll be taking on the mumbling governor. I think that's a pretty good...
The mumbler in chief?
Pretty good characterization of what's going on there. Of course, there's other things going on. This hideous, grotesque ad by Mark Begich using this heinous crime...
Are you going to
for political gain.
Play it?
I don't want to play it. Actually, I don't think we should play it. The family's asked it not to be played.
Oh, okay.
And basically,
I haven't heard it, so I
it's online. You can go look when you go home. It's just hideous. There's a police detective talking about this,
Oh, Jerry Andrew Active?
Yeah, a horrible human being goes and kills a couple and rapes a child. They try to pin it on Dan Sullivan.
Did he have anything to do with it?
Absolutely nothing. It's completely without merit. And then the current AG has said so, Garrity, that Sullivan had nothing to do with the release of this guy.
Can we, let's put a challenge out to Begich here.
Well,
Mark Begich.
The families, have you followed any of this?
No.
The family came out and said, please pull this ad. The guy still hasn't been tried.
Yeah.
They're worried this is going to hurt the jury pool.
Yeah.
And Sullivan, of course, had to respond to the ad. And when the family said, please pull these ads, Sullivan immediately pulled his. Begich just said, I'm going to think about it. I need to talk to the family first. Anyway.
I can't believe he didn't do that first to begin with.
It is it's the lowest blow of anything I've ever seen politically. Now let's review Mark Begich's campaign. One, I'm Lisa Murkowski. Lisa Murkowski says, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
His second thing is, Dan Sullivan is a major threat to women and you should be terrified of him. And then the third thing is he's pro-murderers.
Because you have to buy your own condoms?
Yeah.
That's the threat to women?
That's the second part.
Well, you'd think that jobs would be a little bit more, higher on the priority list, that development would be, but hey.
But doesn't this reek of desperation?
He doesn't have much to run on.
He does.
Let's just be honest. But this is a real challenge, okay? Jerry Andrew Active, because I thought this at the very first time that I heard it, and this is a couple of months old, actually.
Yeah.
The assault on Attorney
Well, there was
General
a blogger who, as Amanda Coyne so eloquently said, wrote an error-filled story on it. And this blogger was associated with Treadwell. But to Treadwell's credit, he never went there. He never used it as a tactic.
This is why people unplug from politics, which is probably what, look, there's a lot of anger on people on the left. I don't find it so much on people on the right. We're just trying to figure out how to do the right thing. We want families to be strong. We want an economy. But people on the left are really driven by hatred and anger. There's a piece about Dan Sullivan today about him essentially, Dan Sullivan, the Senate candidate, about him essentially being against women's rights out in the bush, about him not, trusting tribal courts and all kinds of things. And
it's a column by a native leader.
It's essentially...
What's her name? What's the guy who wrote it? She got three. Heather Kinder Miller. Okay. So it's not really an article. It's a column, which is different.
Yeah, but it's very long, and it lays out, here are the reasons why you cannot trust Dan Sullivan
let me just
against
say,
voting rights, against women's rights, against children's rights. I mean, it just goes on, against fishing rights.
One thing that the Alaska Dispatch News does that the ADN didn't do, which I think is somewhat destructive, they will let people write columns. And they'll look like news stories. Now, I know the difference because I know they're reporters. But for the average person who doesn't know the names of their reporting staff, because Heather Kinder Miller is an activist. She's a hard left
There's
activist.
No doubt about it. They want independence from the United States of America, from the government of Alaska, from the federal government. They want their own lands. They want their own peoples. And I have a real question about it, and I wanted to bring this up at some point in the show. I don't know when you want to do it, but I really want to know, do women out in the bush want tribal courts to step in for state courts? I think that's a huge question. And by the way, if 2/3 of women, just women, I don't care, I could care less about what men want out in the bush. I want to know if 2/3 of women out in the bush, if they actually wanted tribal courts to take over whenever there was a case of rape or incest or assault or anything else, if they want tribal courts to take over, 2/3, that's my number. And I have reasons for that. But if the women out in the bush wanted 2/3 of them wanted their tribal courts to take over, I'd let them have it.
And I don't know what...
I'd let them have tribal courts.
I don't know.
I don't believe that's true, by the way.
I don't know what happened to me this morning, but something changed on the inside of me. And I don't... It could be really bad. It could be because of what I ate last night. It could be...
Could it be good?
It could be divine intervention. Who knows?
Okay.
But I literally made up in my heart, I don't give a rat's ass what people think about me anymore. And I'm not going to pull punches anymore.
All right.
Just like I'm going to tell you boldly right now, without any equivocation, the It's Our Oil crowd are a bunch of useful idiots. I'm just going to say that because that's what I believe. And you want to talk about native culture and domestic violence? It is a travesty that the native culture does not protect their women. They should be ashamed of themselves. And you nailed it. I've talked to so many native women through the years who they go to the tribal elders. They go to their mother.
Yep.
They go to their uncle. And they said, quiet, don't speak of this
Heard
travesty.
it over and over and over
yes.
again.
I think you were dead on. Of course they don't want tribal courts.
I want to know this answer right now because, by the way, this horrible piece that is in the Alaska Dispatch News today by this activist
Heather
leader.
Kendall Miller.
Okay, it's so important for us to know is if this is what your women want, we will let you have it. I don't believe that's true. Now, I'm looking for something more than a 50% because if it's 51-49, I'm not going to turn the 49% of people over to these tribal courts who are not probably going to give them justice, who I don't trust to do the right thing every time. And if 49% of people don't trust them to do the right thing, we should not release them from a true, honest justice system like we have in the United States of America.
The greatest miracle I've ever seen, literally, I could watch somebody walk on water tomorrow, and it will not even come close to comparing to the miracle that I'm about to describe. There's a young gal. She was the first Native Alaskan ever to graduate from the Naval Academy. She said as long as she could remember, there were men doing things to her with her body that she didn't want. I mean, we're talking about her father, her uncle, elders in the town, in the village, Unalakleet, where she grew up. Horrific story. By the time, I don't remember her age, she was maybe 10 or 11, she finally got the courage to go to her mother. Her mother slapped her, said, don't you ever repeat any of this ever again. 14 years old, she gets her first boyfriend. Second date, he rapes her. This woman lived in hell. She said every friend that she had in the village had the same experience. Now, she found God, and somehow she is the most well-adjusted, happy, peaceful person I've ever met. She has some way, this is the miracle part, found it in her heart to forgive everyone involved. And there's a whole bunch of people to forgive. There's no way. I would have basically taken everybody's lives involved. That would have been me. I don't have that capability of forgiving at that level. That's why it's the greatest miracle I ever saw. But it's not an anomaly. It is the culture. And someone needs to stand up. And someone needs to address it. Now, Disa Jacobson, Heather Kendall Miller, all of these guys, if they heard me say, Dan Fagan's a racist, Dan Fagan's anti-native, Dan Fagan's a bigot, fine. I wear it with pride if that's what you think. I'm not a bigot. I'm looking at the suffering. No, domestic violence and domestic assault is not exclusive to the Native community. Of course not. Every race has it. But there's something about the Native culture in rural Alaska that allows it to exist at a level we don't see anywhere else in any other culture. Now, that's truth. Call me a bigot if you want. That's the truth.
How does the state... I do think what you've said, it bears out in the facts. It bears out in every survey. It bears out in every statistical analysis for where crimes happen and who they happen to and how they happen. That woman who went to the Naval Academy, her experience, tragedy. That is so sad. And you know what's sad about it, by the way? And this is a problem I have with, I realized she needed to save herself, and that's why she forgave. But her forgiveness didn't, hopefully it did change other people's lives, but maybe it didn't. And maybe there's girls out there right now who are still in danger. Look, I think there are 120 villages now with no women in them, age 20 to 29. They abandoned these villages. They cannot be made safe. They are not safe in their own village. And so it is time for us to wake up. And this activity, look, I think it's a rational charge. Here's why I think this, and I think it's so important for people to, if you can, just
real quick,
hear me
her
out.
argument is that Sullivan is against tribal government.
Yeah,
She's
that he does
criticizing
not trust tribal government. And the one that she brought up several of them. Mark Biegel says we need to turn rape cases over to tribal courts. And that's one of the things that he wanted to push through the United States Senate, and Dan Sullivan opposed. I want to know from the women out there. I think it's so critical. It's the most important thing that we need to know, because here's what I believe. And this, I understand this is the libertarian in me that I'm taking on more and more. If people want to be governed by their own tribal courts, I think that if they're not serving them well now, they will have an opportunity to fix them.
We're talking about 5-year-old girls, Glenn.
I totally agree. If you women out there think that your tribal courts are not going to protect your 5-year-olds, our current courts aren't.
The 5-year-old.
Our current courts aren't protecting them either, Dan.
They do better than the Native community.
No, how do we know that? But what I'm saying is we don't know that. And if
Yeah,
two-thirds,
I think we actually do.
No, I don't think we do. Because if they could figure out, maybe they will heal as a society. Maybe they will change something fundamental. Maybe this court system, which is separated from them, and
the reason
their
that
races.
the child in Native Alaskan villages are so vulnerable is because there's a code of silence that
Agreed.
protects the perpetrator that does not exist in most other cultures
I totally
to that degree.
I agree.
So you can't then say, well, if they've got this code of silence, let's let them govern themselves.
I'd like to see. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that if
What's not true?
that I don't know that the code of silence exists, because this girl did speak up.
No,
that
she
I don't
didn't.
think it's
No,
100%.
It's
I
not
think
100%.
there's always a chance for people to reform themselves. And
729.
that's my hope. And that's my hope.
And now, the Fox News Business Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Anchorage. The best or nothing.
From the Fox Business Network, builders were busy in July. Construction spending in the U.S. was up 1.8%, the biggest one-month gain in more than
Small plane crashed shortly after taking.
The increase follows a nearly 1% decline in June. Norwegian Cruise Lines is buying Prestige Cruises International for about $3 billion in cash and stock. Prestige owns the luxury operators Oceania and Regent Seven Seas Cruise Lines. The company says the deal will immediately add to its earnings and initially save $25 million. Dollar General has increased its bid for Family Dollar stores to $80 a share from $78.50 a share. Family Dollar says it will review Dollar General's revised proposal, although the retailer says it still supports a merger with Dollar Tree. Shares of CompuWare are rallying more than 10%. Thoma Bravo, a private equity investment firm, is buying the software company for $2.5 billion. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Rich Edson.
You've been thinking about moving over to solar power for your home. So are a lot of other people, which is why some power companies are pushing for extra fees to make up the difference. Get caught in the middle or go with a trusted local solar company and actually own it with no down payment, interest, or payments for a whole year. Get all the tax incentives you're entitled to while you still can. We finance. Call for your free in-home assessment. Call 1-800-SOLAR today.
My home, my state, my solar.
KOAN News. I'm John White. Horrible escaped injury when their small plane crashed shortly after takeoff from the Lake Hood airstrip in Anchorage Sunday evening. Investigators Monday said the pilot lost power at about 100 feet and couldn't get it restarted. Made the decision to put the plane down in some trees. An Antioch man faces serious charges after a young girl told police 69-year-old Golga Kilila had repeatedly sexually abused her. Kilila reportedly claimed to investigators he was intoxicated during the alleged incidents, although the victim apparently reported he was not inebriated during at least some of the assaults. Candidates for senator have agreed to stop running ads that make reference to Jerry Active, the suspect in the killing of an elderly couple. The victims' families found the ads distasteful. They were also concerned that the commercials could taint the jury for the upcoming trial. That's your Hot Talk News update. Local weather is next.
Sunshine and clouds with some afternoon rain, high 63. Cloudy with rain for the rest of your Tuesday, low 48. Mostly cloudy with a bit of rain Wednesday, high 60. Wednesday night, low 40. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 60. Friday, sun and clouds, high 59. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
This is Herbeck from with Alaska Sausage. I have some news for you hunters. Our specials this year include our famous bratwurst, pastrami, Polish hot dog. Our specials are always very popular, and I believe you're really going to love these. We have been processing game meat for Alaskan hunters for over 45 years. We know superior products start with superior meat, and that's why we only accept clean game meat that's been well cared for before it gets to us. Our traditional old-world recipes turn your carefully prepared meat into superior products. You will be happy to serve your family and friends.
Alaska Sausage, 2914 Arctic Boulevard. And for our Valley customers, there's no need to bring your game all the way to Anchorage. Now you can simply drop your clean, boneless meat at Smoked Alaska Seafoods in Wasilla, where Alaska Sausage will pick it up, complete your order, and bring it back to you.
Just tell them Herb sent you.
Did you know that one of the state's premier medical facilities is located right in the heart of South Anchorage? Thanks to the Alaska Neurology Center, there's no need to leave Alaska anymore when it comes to treating the nervous system. You'll receive the best care at the Alaska Neurology Center for epilepsy, cerebral palsy, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, speech disorders, and they offer pain management as well. And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, the Alaska Neurology Center has the best sleep disorder experts in the state. They also have the most sophisticated MRI imaging technology in Alaska. If you need relief from stress or from migraines, relax in their luxurious spa. At the Alaska Neurology Center, their massage therapists are amazing. And they offer hydrotherapy, infrared sauna, hot and cold therapy, and shiatsu massage. And their medical spa also offers facials and waxing. The Alaska Neurology Center, located on Diamond and Old Seward.
Glenn Biegel, you have beautiful teeth.
Why, thank you, Dan Fagan. That's because my family and I have gone to Dr. Dan Kiley for years. I get scared at the dentist. Dr. Kiley knows people like you are afraid, so he creates a relaxed atmosphere at his office. People actually like going to the dentist for Dr. Kiley.
I know it's important to have good dental health.
And you look better with good teeth. And Dr. Kiley offers cosmetic dentistry along with general care.
Visit Dr. Dan Kiley at lakeotisdental.com. Call him at 562-9209.
Hot Talk, KOAN, man. You're on the Talk of the Valley, KVNT.
All right, here's a question for you. It's multiple choice. If you're going to buy a new car, do you want to pay less or pay more? Well, if you want to pay less, then go to Payless Car Sales. Our good friend Ali Sheik over there on Fifth Avenue, he's got a great selection of vehicles, cars, trucks, SUVs, all thoroughly inspected, very reliable, and he will sell you one for a price that you will be shocked at. You will get into a vehicle for far less than you thought it would cost to get in some of these that he has in Payless Car Sales over on Fifth Avenue. Ali Sheik, our good friend, characterizes his dealership as an entry-level used car dealership. It's now the fastest-growing car dealership in the whole state of Alaska. He's second largest used car dealer in Anchorage, and Ali Sheik has done that by treating his customers right, one customer at a time. 919 East Fifth Avenue. Here's the number, 677-AUTO. 677-AUTO. That's Payless Car Sales. 569-1080. 569-1080. There's Glenn Biegel right over there. There's Bonnie Cameron over there. Bonnie's kind of having an off day. She's kind of quiet today, Glenn. You notice that?
Well, these are, it's taken 10, 15, 20 years of public speaking to be able to work out what to say, so that because I spend every waking moment. Look, I'm a conservative, and some of the things I say will automatically offend people on the left, but I'm desperately trying everything I can to not offend people who I don't need to offend. So I'm trying to use the language that they understand, language that still makes my point, but is not purposefully offensive. This is a very difficult issue to walk through because there is so much dysfunction out in Bush, Alaska. And I honestly, here's a person who has given a savage attack on Senate candidate Dan Sullivan.
Heather Kendall Miller.
Heather Kendall Miller. She wrote a piece, left-wing activist. She wants essentially tribal sovereignty. That's what she's looking for. And so she wrote a piece savaging Dan Sullivan, Senate candidate, on 5 different issues. I do believe these 5 issues are what they're going to play across the state of Alaska, but I don't believe that if they took a survey of the people involved,
the victims,
I don't think that this left-wing activist would find what she thinks she's going to find. What she thinks she's going to find, this is a 90-10 issue. Right? The idea that we should have tribal courts govern rapes and govern issues, that all the issues, assaults that go on out in the bush, she's wrong about. The women out in the bush don't trust tribal courts. They know that they're not going to get justice. So here's my challenge, and I honestly think that the election may come down to this very challenge. I honestly think this. That's why I bring it up. That's why I put so much thought into it. That if they could get, I don't even think they'll get a majority, but they may get a bare majority of people.
Who's they?
That if you took a survey of women out in the bush and asked them, do you want, if you are raped, if you are assaulted, if someone in the village does something bad to you, do you want a tribal court to govern over your case and adjudicate whether or not you will get justice in this, or do you want to go to a state court? I don't believe this is a 90-10 issue, as she thinks it is. This left-wing activist, Heather Kendall Miller,
right,
who wrote a piece in the Alaska Dispatch News. I don't think it's a 90-10 issue. I don't think it's a 50-50 issue, but even if it was 50-50, I still would argue we should not switch over the entire court system because 50% of people do not believe they will get justice. And by the way, very few people get justice either in state court system, in the tribal court system, or in any other system that goes on out in Bush, Alaska today.
You know, I have my view on Alaska Native people and culture is that it's really the Alaska Natives who are poised, in my opinion, to lead Alaska to our destiny and the coming prosperity. Because, look, this is a land rich with wealth, incredibly rich with wealth. And Alaska Native people for centuries have had a very intimate relationship with the land. White people, non-Alaska Natives, can't even begin to compare in knowledge and understanding of the land that Alaska Natives have. And I think it's incumbent upon those of us who live in Alaska who are non-natives to understand that. But we're talking about centuries of intimate relationship with the land. And I think a lot of times what happens is Alaska Natives get very bitter because they're not in the power structure. The oil companies run things.
Their native corporations run things.
Well, but a lot of times it's not natives that run natives corporations.
I agree with that. That's
Right.
largely true.
So you've got people who've not had centuries of intimate relationship with the land who are not in the decision-making process. And I think it's incumbent upon the non-native community in Alaska to understand that that's a big mistake, leaving native voices out. And you say, well, you look at the Bristol Bay Native Corporation, all they want to do is shut down development. They want to kill jobs in Western Alaska. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's a shame. But there are plenty of Native Alaskans who want to work and want to see jobs and want to see economic prosperity. And it's not just, don't look at the Bristol Bay Native Corporation as indicative of all natives. That's the leadership out there that wants to keep everybody in poverty. That's not the average Alaska Native, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's a divide. There's no doubt about it in this state. And we need to come together. We got to figure out a way. And I don't know how to do it, but it's got to be done. If we're going to move into the next phase of what's in store for us here in Alaska. I mean, to say to Western Alaska, you know what, you guys, you just have to get used to living in poverty. Because the Bristol Bay Native Corporation
or move
leaders,
out, which is what's going on right now. They're moving out.
Yeah, because they just don't want any mining, they don't want any jobs out here. They just want to keep what's that stupid saying? The way it always was, or the way
place that's always been.
Yeah, whatever. That's just stupid.
It is true, and it will always be a place that's always been, except that there won't be any people there.
You say there's plenty of people, but I don't see it.
Oh,
no. Did you see the news report the other day? They were crying. They were crying, tears coming down. Please keep it the way it is.
You have to understand, Bonnie, there's a bullying mentality. I've talked to plenty of Alaska Natives who have been harassed and intimidated and bullied.
They shut down.
These leaders of some of these Native corporations, they don't play nice sometimes. And you can get ostracized in the culture and the community. Believe me. Look, Alaska Natives are no different than anybody else. They want to be able to go to work and create jobs for their family or have a job to create wealth for their family. They do. Now, I know that there are some who've embraced the entitlement culture, and that's true. There's some in every race that embrace the entitlement culture. And there are organizations like the Bristol Bay Native Corporation. I mean, it is a crime what they're doing to their region. It is a crime. It really, I don't want to say it borders on genocide, because it doesn't. But it's causing people to have to leave a region. And they're not killing people, but
who was the native leader who was in here? She ran one of the smaller native corporations.
Lisa Reimers with Iliamna Development Corporation. Perfect example.
Right.
She was desperate to
She's
try
not
and
alone.
No,
she's not alone.
But definitely a majority.
Well, no, hold on. I don't think so. A lot of them don't have the courage that Lisa does,
right,
to speak out. Because believe me, she has been harassed to no end for her stance, her pro-development, pro-job stance. It's not that there aren't many of her. It's just that they don't. A lot of them don't have the courage.
But the non-native people see the news reports about the people pleading to not mess up their, waters and stuff like that, and they go along with it, and we feel bad for them, and that's what most people think is the idea.
744 Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080. Our number 569-1080. 569-1080.
Join the conversation. KOAN.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
For the past 20 years, Sicily's Pizza has served Alaskans hot, fresh, quality pizza at a great price. And as a special thanks to all of their loyal customers, Sicily's is having a 20th anniversary sale. Any pizza, any size, for just 20 cents. Now that's an offer that you really can sink your teeth into. Call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's 20th anniversary special. Buy any pizza, any size, and get a second pizza for only 20 cents. Order online at sicilyspizza.com. Offer valid for pickup and carry out only. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza, 333-8000.
If you're waiting for the movies, there's just one place to go. Check out moviesak.com.
Find movie showtimes for Anchorage and the Valley at moviesak.com. Check out trailers and reviews updated daily. Moviesak.com, your local location on the web to find out everything you need to know before you go out. Register for free movie tickets that are given away every week and the grand prize of movie tickets for life.
I like my breakfast like I like my rock. Soft. So I eat Belvita soft baked breakfast biscuits, a tasty breakfast option for nutritious morning energy. It's just what I want before writing a flute solo that will softly rock every dentist's office around. Try Belvita soft baked in oats and chocolate, cinnamon, mixed berry, and banana bread. Belvita, morning win.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Biegel. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. The Talk of the Valley.
Well, good Tuesday morning to you on this September 2nd, 2014, 7:47 in the morning. Our good friend Brooke Luna over at Alaska Neurology Center is going to be coming by in a couple days. She was fun last time we were on the show. She is one of the staff members over at Alaska Neurology Center, where they specialize on something that's very, very basic and fundamental in life, which is getting a good night's sleep. The best in town, Alaska Neurology Center, is Alaska's premier helping you sleep specialist right there on Diamond and the Old Sword Highway. They're in the old Borders bookstore. They've transformed it into an amazing, high-tech, state-of-the-art medical facility. Several rooms set up that will help you sleep at night. And if you're not sleeping well, go see them. It'll change your life. It will absolutely change your life. Here's the number, 565-6000. 565-6000. Make an appointment. Alaska Neurology Center. Again, over there on Diamond in the Old Sword Highway in the old Borders Book building. 7:48 is our time. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. 569-1080. Lots of news going on today. Walker and Malott joining forces to take on Governor Parnell. Sean Parnell pretty much had a shoe-in thing going. Now he's going to have a battle of his life. Also, this baggage ad, we're talking about this despicable, horrendous, desperate baggage ad trying to pin the murder of 3 people really on Dan Sullivan. It's just, oh my goodness. It's one of the most desperate political things I've ever seen anybody do. The family of the victim has asked the baggage camp to pull the ad. Mr. Baggage has said he'll think about it. Ugh, it just makes me sick. 7:49, 569-1080, 569-1080. Bill.
Hey, good morning. I was just calling in reference to the comments you had related to Bristol Bay Native Corporation. A lot of people don't realize that BB&C is broken up into 2 regions. One's the Lake and Penn, the other was Bristol Bay. And the controlling board is in Bristol Bay, not Lake and Penn. And so there's also a intertribal conflict that a lot of people got sucked into that's just basic tribal politics. And then the villages were used as a pawn. And so it's pretty sad when, you know, it's all about power. The guys out at Dillingham control the BB&C board, and Lincoln Penn started getting stronger, and there's a lot of pushback.
Hey, Bill, great comments here, by the way, to let people know how this is sort of playing out, and that there isn't even unanimity inside the Native Corporation, and unfortunately, these tribes. Tell me about my question about, and I don't know if you have an opinion on this, but whether or not would hold courts to manage or to give them justice in their rape cases and their assault cases. What do you think the vote on that would be? Do you have an opinion?
I think it'd be worse than it is now. I think what happens is a lot of what their needs are not met. I think a lot, especially when it comes to young children and young females, their value of their life is not equal to that of a man. And so what ends up happening is they get passed around or used and abused without any real recourse. And then due to the elder factor and having prominent people within the community, it's just to coin a phrase from BB&C, the place or the way it's always been is the way it stays. So at the top of most large Native corporations, you'll find this kind of crime going all the way to the top. So,
do you think the response to Heather, what was her name? Heather
Kendall Miller.
Heather Kendall Miller, that it should? I mean, how would a public response to that go over? What do you say? Because
Heather Kendall Miller wrote a column today calling for more power to tribal governments.
I think that would be, they want to handle things say in-house, but the problem is they're already doing that. And what ends up happening is everything's kept quiet or hushed. And if you go against it, then you're ostracized from the community. And so they want to do things their own way. The unfortunate part is when there's a good thing and bad thing when it comes to elders, but when your elders are corrupt and, people don't realize village life is very political, both on the local basis and corporation basis. And if there's no outside control coming into that to help mediate, reality, what ends up happening is the innocent get abused and have no voice.
Well, that's what she's calling for, and she's saying basically the people should vote for Biegel because he wants these tribal courts to take over. And if women out there would not support this, I'm afraid that they're going to be kept silent once again. Somehow we've got to get their voices to be heard, because I don't think they want this. I agree with you that they're not going to see justice improve if we completely turn their safety and security over to tribal leaders who have not kept them safe already.
Well, I mean, Mark Baggage, he's a joke in itself, the nature boy on a green screen. But the sad thing is, even when because my wife and I were foster parents while he was running the city, and 80% of the community was Native children in the foster care program. And the sad thing is, the way, I think, quite honestly, I think they'll increase. I think a lot of the abuse will be hidden, and I think the children will be the victims of all this.
Even more abuse would be hidden.
Even more abuse, because there will be then the control's off. There's no outside control say, no, that's not okay, and no, you can't do that, and yes, that is family. Don't go there. And Mark Baggage, in his complete ignorance and his greed is apparent in all things, including back to his union agreements he had when he was running the city.
Oh yeah, no, those were his stake in the ground to prove that, look, I'm on your side. I'll always be on your side, even if I have to break the law, even if I have to change contracts, even if I have to, write you a check directly. You are on the pay list. Don't worry about that. So yeah, and I don't know whether or not it'll turn against him, but he expects the unions to show up big time.
Well, what he's basically doing is taking away the voice of the innocent people, the innocent children and the women in the villages that have no choice.
Yeah.
That have been repressed. and that are unfortunately victims of a culture that
Bill, we have got to get their story out there, and they have to have a voice because they're through traditional channels. And if this Heather, what is her name, Heather Kendall Miller, if she is the spokesman for all the women out in the villages, and that's what she's claiming to be, she's claiming, look, they would be much better off, and Sullivan and his approach to it is the worst approach. So she's speaking for everyone. We've got to get their voices out.
They got to get their voices out, and I tell you what, all you'd have to do is go down to OCS over here off 4th and 5th Avenue, and then to meet with some of the caseworkers and see what would it take to help these children get out of this circle of abuse, because it just goes year after year after year, and there's generations of people within this program. And the problem with the villages is because a lot of these elders within the communities are also on the native corporations. And that they're elders on the boards of native corporations. And what ends up happening is, if you speak out, your relatives are also employed in these native corporations. And if you speak out, you lose your job.
Yeah.
If you speak out, your relative loses your job. Or your extended family all of a sudden is kicked completely out of the whole program. And there's going to be a lot of people be upset hearing that. That's the fact. And that's how it's controlled.
Well, it's a very powerful system. And it's very successful for keeping the people who are currently in power, and not seeing things change.
Well,
I wish they would make a better decision, though, about Mark Biegel. She's so destructive to people out in the bush. And this Heather Kendall Miller, I think her piece is just despicable.
Right, and it's unfortunate is that, and I'm also Native myself, but the unfortunate thing is a lot of people feel if you have to vote Democratic if you're a Native, and quite honestly, I believe the opposite. And the problem with it is people have gotten so used to being enslaved by the handouts provided by the federal government that they've become dependent on it, and their families and their corporations and their village infrastructure and heating fuel and food and bypass mail and all that's related to their survival. And unfortunately, they're now victims of a program that's now enslaved them. And
well, can Sullivan make the case that there is a much brighter, more independent, more humane future for you here in the state of Alaska that does not include as many government checks?
Yes, well, his family is a great. I mean, if you have met Dan Sullivan and talked to his wife, who is Alaska Native, and his children who are Alaska Native, I mean, here's the thing, and that's the one thing that he's not running around marketing, which Mark Baggs would have if he had married to Alaska Native woman, is Dan Sullivan. I mean, his family is Alaska Native. He may not be, but his wife and children are. And I tell you what, you wouldn't ask for a more prouder group of people.
Could she? This is Julie Fate. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Could she write the piece to respond to Heather Kendall Miller? Because unless there's another person who responds to this piece, then she's the voice of Alaska Native women.
I think she should. I think she really could. I think she could speak to it. She's a very eloquent.
That'd be a fantastic thing for her to do, and important. Yeah. Look, this is a conversation that's going on across the state of Alaska. She needs to stand up.
Well, and reality.
You know what? I got to take a break here, Bill. I appreciate your call, though. 7:58.
Reality.
You know what? I got to take a break here, Bill. I appreciate your call, though.
What in the name of Blackbeard's ghost is going on here?
Yar, it's the 2014 Pirate Pub Crawl in downtown Anchorage, Captain, on Saturday, September 20th.
Shiver me timbers, we'll need to batten down the hatches and set our course to help raise money for the Blood Bank of Alaska's treasure chest, else we'll be sent to Davy Jones' locker.
Aye, navigate your way to Town Square at 7 p.m. for a group photo with your crew. Make way anytime after 7 p.m. to the participating pubs in downtown Anchorage with your treasure map to win 80,000 air miles and more.
We need it now! Jive ho to AnchorageDowntown.org for more details and discounts on hotel stay, costumes, and parking at Easy Park lots for the night.
Yo ho, me hearties!
We best be seeing your scallywags at the Pirate Pub Crawl on September 20th.
Brought to you by the Anchorage Downtown Pirate Ship, K&H Graphics, the Blood Bank of Alaska, the Odom Corporation, Dooley's Tuxedos and Rentals, and Alaska Integrated Media.
You're listening to Hot Talk, KOAN, Anchorage, AM 1080, and retranslated on 95.1 FM on K236CG, Anchorage.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. There were warnings about ISIS months ago in briefings to the president. That's what a former Pentagon official is saying. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live at the White House.
A year before the Sunni militant group made sweeping gains in Syria and Iraq, a threat assessment was part of the presidential daily briefing. A former Pentagon official telling Fox News the intelligence left the impression ISIS was getting bad. The White House has said the rise of ISIS was swift and fueled by political turmoil in both Iraq and Syria. Intelligence and military chiefs have described the group as a regional threat for now. President Obama has ordered airstrikes targeting ISIS in Iraq, but a strategy has not been decided for dealing with the fighters based in Syria. Lisa.
Jared, still not clear whether a U.S. airstrike in Somalia has taken out the leader of al-Shabaab. A member of the terror group says the leader was in one of two vehicles hit in the strike, but won't say if he's among the 6 militants dead. President Obama heads later today to Estonia en route to a NATO summit where Ukraine's fight with pro-Russia Ukraine now says Russian forces have been spotted in both major cities held by rebels in the east. Russia still denies sending in any troops. Parents who took their sick little boy out of the hospital to get different treatment now won't be prosecuted in Britain. Fox Radio's Simon Owen live in London.
Lisa, British prosecutors cancelling an arrest warrant for the parents of 5-year-old Ashia King, who has a brain tumour and was taken out of a hospital here by his parents last week without the consent of doctors. They went to Spain to try and sell a house there to pay for alternative treatment, but were arrested for child cruelty by Spanish police on a British warrant. After an outpouring of support from the public here and even the British Prime Minister, that warrant now cancelled. The family is expected to be reunited soon. Lisa.
Simon, thanks. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-530-6922. That's 1-800-530-6922. 1-800-530-6922.
When Alaska hunters get their moose or caribou, deer or sheep, they face a number of choices. The smart ones bring their meat to Herb Eckman at Alaska Sausage.
We've been processing game for Alaskans since 1963. I am very proud of the products we make.
Alaska Sausage makes wonderful breakfast sausage, Polish sausage, summer sausage, and the old favorites, moose-a-roni and wieners, plus their famous hunter sticks, pepper sticks, or teriyaki sticks.
And each month we have some great specials like our classic pastrami. Our specials are always very popular. And a superior product starts with superior meat. That's why Alaska Sausage only accepts good, clean game meat that has been well cared for before it gets to us.
You know, there's a lot of hard work involved in bringing back your moose or caribou or sheep, a lot of hard work. So it only makes sense to take it where you'll get the best sausage and meat. Alaska Sausage, near the corner of Arctic and Benson. And our Valley customers can drop their clean boneless meat at Smoked Alaska Seafoods, where Alaska Sausage will pick it up and complete your order.
Just tell them Herb sent you.
Is your IT department burdened with first-line support calls about printer jams and broken printers? Are individual departments purchasing expensive printer cartridges that get buried in office supply budgets? Is your printer support strategy really a printer replacement plan? Let Alaska Enterprise Solutions show you how to reduce those high print costs. AES is a Xerox professional agency in Alaska with Xerox's worldwide support behind them. You can reach us at aesalaska.com or 561-5100.
When I grow up, I want to be a pro basketball player. An elementary school teacher.
No matter what dream you choose or where you are in life, Country Financial helps you and your family grow your own way.
Or maybe a veterinarian. A mom, a doctor, and president of the United States. Maybe an astronaut or, an Olympic gymnast.
You can go your own way. We know some dreams take a little longer to achieve. which is why your local Country Financial representative offers helpful advice on everything. From auto and home insurance to financial planning, education to retirement, and business insurance too, so that you can continue to grow and dream.
Or maybe an accountant, like my dad.
For more information, visit countryfinancial.com or call 1-866-COUNTRY. Country Financial. Grow your own way.
Glenn, every once in a while you find a hidden gem right here in Anchorage.
You're talking about the Snow Leopard Boutique.
I am.
Owner Eileen Bear has an amazing eye for beauty.
For decorating ideas, it doesn't get any better than Snow Leopard Boutique.
They have 2,400 square feet of everything you need to beautify yourself and your home.
Glenn, I noticed a calming atmosphere the moment I walked in.
Dan, how about those chocolate truffles?
Yeah, and you can wash them down with a free latte.
The Snow Leopard Boutique
at the corner of Tudor and Old Seward.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning. You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the Talk of the Valley.
6 minutes past 8 o'clock. Here are Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Our friend Mike Daniels and his team at Country Financial, they're all about getting you to a good retirement where you're secure, you're happy. You don't have to worry about scrapping for nickels. Going to the early dinner special so you can get your steak at 40% off. No, you should have a good, comfortable, worry-free retirement. And Mike Daniels and his country representative team can get you on that path. They've got 13 different locations Country Financial does here in Alaska. And they're the best at financial planning, helping you ask the right questions, making sure you have plenty of insurance. You know, if you're underinsured, and you may think you're not, but if you are, all that you've worked for your whole life could vanish in a moment. If you know the right team, financial planning team helping you, it could be a big mistake. It could be very costly, not only for you, but for your children. Country Financial, Mike Daniels and his team will help you, and they'll get you on the right path. Here's the number: 866-COUNTRY. 866-COUNTRY, and country is spelled. Well, you were just asleep, weren't you?
No.
You were just asleep.
I was just waiting for spelled.
Country was spelled
COUNTRY.
You know, when you get into that Vanna White voice, that's not your normal voice. A couple of things I want to talk about this segment. First of all, man, I just get killed by these global warming cult members. They really don't like me. I don't like that. I don't like not being liked. Gosh, I'm starting to really get off on that. So, you know, the Al Gore said 7 years ago that all the ice cap and then, be gone.
Gone.
So it's double.
Summer will be ice freeze in the Arctic.
It's double. It's double this year, the size of Alaska. And this was me, Treadwell's big thing. I went back and listened to a bunch of his speeches, and he's. And here's the thing with people. Let me tell you about people. Bonnie Cameron. Bonnie Cameron's all about Joe Miller. Dan Fagan. Dan Fagan's all about the awful, destructive cause and effect of public employee unions. That's that and the death culture. Glenn Biegel.
Education.
School choice. School choice. And
are we simplifying down to just...
I'm for all that.
We're talking about biases here. Okay. I am so convinced that public employee unions are the destruction of this nation. So I probably am not a good person to talk to, just like Bonnie is with Joe Miller. She thought Joe Miller was a better candidate than Sullivan. He wasn't. Just like you're probably a little off on school choice. Amanda Coyne, Obamacare. Oh, she loves Obamacare. She's a great reporter. I trust her on both things. Obamacare, I don't want to listen to her. Alice Rogoff in the Anchorage Daily Dispatch News, whatever it is now, climate change. That's their big baby.
Oh, she likes climate change.
Oh, she put on that big Anchorage Imperative or Arctic Imperative Summit.
End of the
she
world.
Is here because of climate change. That's why she has planted herself in Alaska.
That's right.
So you're never going to see in the Anchorage Daily News, Alaska Dispatch, news80n.com, that the ice cap is now twice the size of Alaska.
It increased.
It increased.
It increased over twice the size of Alaska in 1 year.
And I remember I had Meat
And
Treadwell.
there's older ice there too. By the way.
I remember Meat Treadwell was on my TV show 2-3 years ago, and he was talking about, we're gonna have all these ships. Mead's in on that climate change too. Let's not kid ourselves.
Let's not beat around the bush.
He was right in there in that whole cult thing.
But he was looking forward to having some economic development due to lack of ice, which I think is a great idea.
And a lot of the sea. But the bottom line is you can tell when some of these guys, they get hooked on an issue, and I'm confessing my issue, right? I'm telling you, man, public employees, as long as they control politicians, we're done. We'll never have limited government. Glenn, you talk about limited government all the time. Forget it. As long as Vince Beltrami can orchestrate the deal that he just did yesterday.
Big success for him, by the way. This was all about the AFL-CIO.
It's all about the unions.
All about it.
The oil companies, the state takes them over. All of a sudden, all the employees are union.
Yep.
Beltrami wins.
Oh yeah, big win.
So anyway, that's certainly noteworthy.
Well, I hate to say that something that you're passionate about, that you've researched and really gone above and beyond on, that you can't be trusted on.
Well, no, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Because we can't
so
see beyond,
driven.
right?
Because I have convinced myself that we will never stop leveraging our kids' future until public employee unions lose their collective bargaining rights. That is something I have convinced myself of. As long as we keep saying to unions or to people who want to work for the government, you must give cash to union bosses to have a job, and those union bosses can take that and legally purchase politicians. We're never going to stop leveraging our kids'
Anchorage
future.
School Board, perfect example. Perfect example. The teachers union puts in $50,000 per race, and you can only run these because you got to do TV, right? In order to get on the school board. And they have all 7 members are all public employee union teacher supported candidates. Every single one of them. Who's going to put up $50,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 in order to beat a teachers association supported candidate? Nobody, as it turns out. So the Anchorage School District, that's why you had Carol Como. She said, you know what, I'm giving you a 19% raise, and this was over 4 years, back in 2007 is when she said this. But I know that's not enough, and I'm going to fight for more. I'm like, what are you doing? A 19% raise over 4 years? I've never gotten a 5% raise. Who the hell are you talking about?
Well, look at Mark Begich.
Yeah.
Look what Mark Begich did for the union bosses.
$120 million.
And he gets to be in the Senate.
Yeah, an 800-to-1 return on their investment, by the way. They gave him $150,000 in Senate cash. He gave him $120 million in raises in billion-dollar contracts.
Good deal.
So the
800 to 1.
the AO37 people have been putting out daily. Have you seen them? They've been putting out daily quips to their people saying why you should vote no on AO37. It is vote no, right?
Yeah.
This is so
Yes.
we want to vote. I'm voting yes on AO37.
Oh, no. The
this-
vote is a repeal. So if you want to keep AO37, you have to vote no.
Right.
And we don't want to keep AO37.
No, we do.
No, that's the bill that Dan Sullivan passed.
Yeah, that's the one that limits this. These are the 4 or 5 things that Anchorage Ordinance 37 does. It limits contracts to 3 years. So Mark Begich and his ilk. I really want to say something worse than ilk. Is there a worse word that you could say that's
Corrupt bastards.
Okay, that his CPB corrupt.
Right.
that he can only do 3-year contracts.
Right.
You arbitrator does not determine. It's the assembly that determines whether or not the raises
The elected
stick.
members.
Right.
Yeah.
The elected members of the assembly.
Yeah.
There's striking provisions.
But
Those
her
are probably
question
the
is-
most controversial.
The question
You want to vote no on AO37.
Vote no.
On repealing it.
Right.
Basically, that's
Right.
what I want.
Well, anyway, they put out this thing that says that do you want everything to go to the lowest bidder?
Yeah.
And I just think that's so funny because
Yeah.
yes, we
Yes.
do. We do
Yes,
want
we
it to
do.
go to the lowest
Generally,
bidder.
that's
The
true,
taxpayer wants it to go to the lowest bidder.
Yeah.
Right.
But
the
they're
lowest
acting like it's a bad
qualified.
thing.
Well, I want to qualify that because it's very important. The lowest qualified bidder.
Right.
Okay, it
Right.
is not the lowest dollar figure that
But
came
that's a
in for
fear
somebody who'd
tactic that
never
they're
done it
using.
before. But you have to make sure that people know that. Lowest qualified
814,
bidder.
Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie.
Fagan and Biegel. You're on with 569-1080 KOAN.
When you've got the best ingredients, the pizza comes out right. That's just what we're cooking for every appetite. Experience the flavor, call us right away. 24/7, it's a pizza party day.
For the past 20 years, Sicily's Pizza has served Alaskans hot, fresh, quality pizza at a great price. And as a special thanks to all of their loyal customers, Sicily's is having a 20th anniversary sale. Any pizza, any size, for just 20 cents. Now that's an offer that you really can sink your teeth into. Call 333-8000 and order the Sicily's 20th anniversary special. Buy any pizza, any size, and get a second pizza for only 20 cents. Order online at sicilyspizza.com. Offer valid for pickup and carry out only. Best ingredients, best pizza, Sicily's.
Just call Sicily's Pizza, 333-8000.
Have you heard about Valpak.com? It's the online version of the famous Valpak Blue Envelope with even more great offers. At Valpak.com, you can find savings for your home, coupons for eating out, table for two, or maybe even discounts on gardening services. To discover today's savings for yourself, just log on to www.valpak.com.
Check out Valpak Values, Allstate Insurance, Northern Lights Coupon Book, Massage Envy, Scouting Cruise and Holiday Auction, Alaska Car Transport, and dental specials.
Is it already time for your kindergartner to start learning reading, writing, and arithmetic? Would you like them to also learn science, history, and geography? Let's mix in the fun of music, art, and learning through play. Anchor Lutheran School offers this and much more in a class of no more than 22 students. Kindergarten through junior high enrolling now. Anchor Lutheran School on Arctic Boulevard, just north of Diamond. Visit alsalaska.org or call 522-3636 to learn more.
Hot Talk KOAN, man.
50. Fagan and Biegel. Weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. on the Talk of the...
8:17 in the morning. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. We'll try to get Dr. Myron Schweigert out on the broadcast this week or next. Have him talk to us about so many people living their lives without getting help for their pain. You know, we don't have to live a life with pain. It's just not something you have to do with technology today and modern science. There's so many ways Dr. Myron Schweigert and his team at Chugach Chiropractic can help you deal with pain, eliminate pain, live a pain-free life. Massage therapy, natural solutions. You don't have to go under the knife. That's not the always default position. Some doctors will tell you that, but go see Dr. Schweigert first, and he'll check you out. Chugach Chiropractic. Their number 694-9224. 694-9224. Chugach Chiropractic. Our number here on the radio broadcast, 569-1080. 569-1080. Big change in the governor's race. You may have heard Sean Parnell will now face Bill Walker and Byron Malott on the same ticket. It's kind of a fusion of I really see it as three factors represented in the
three factions
in the Malott Walker ticket. There's the let's kick the oil industry out. Alaska should be a national park. There's the let's let government take over the oil industry, the Norway model. That way all the employees will be union. And then there's the I'm an idiot. It's our oil. I don't understand anything about anything crowd. Those three factions have kind of molded and melded together into one big group of people, all of them playing each other the fool. I think, the Hollis Frenches and the Les Guerras who want a national park, and the Bill Walkers who want us to be taken over by the unions. I don't blame them. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. But it's our oil crowd people that are following along. Just, it's our oil, these people, that they're the ones that kind of...
Dan, I don't understand why you don't understand it's our oil.
Well, and earlier...
Do you not understand that?
Earlier we were talking about...
Have you lost your mind?
Eddie Burke, right?
Yeah, Eddie Burke.
And you were saying you thought he could be saved.
I do think I think he will be saved when we have more oil in the pipeline next year.
Yeah, but that
he
doesn't
will be
help us
saved.
before November.
No, I agree. We have to figure out how to win this election,
Well,
and
he
these
was
guys
saying
it's a strong group up against us. For
He
sure.
was saying he needed to see proof, right? So he sees a commercial with Bill Walker in it with a tractor and digging dirt and stuff, and he sees that as this guy's going to get some work done. But
yeah, I
what
think Bill
about
Walker
the train loads of equipment going up to Fairbanks? I mean, train loads. This is the real proof.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a commercial and make it look as good as you want, but the real proof is in all the equipment heading up there now since SB 21 was enacted.
Real, undeniable proof will come next year when we have more oil in the pipeline. No one will be able to dispute it. There will be no question that we have won this battle. The left will be totally discredited. Eddie Burke will absolutely change his position on Senate Bill 21. I promise you, there is no way Sarah Palin will never speak again on the issue. When we have more oil in the pipeline, because here's the problem. People can, in the absence of absolute, undeniable, fact-based truth, they can say whatever they like. They can make up whatever storyline they like. When enough people know, and everyone in the entire state of Alaska, every person, every child, every adult, every dog, everyone will know that we have more oil in the pipeline next year. Everyone will know.
The pipeline reverses years and years of decline, and all of a sudden we start seeing major increases in volume.
Not even major, even if they were small.
Just hypothetical here.
Okay.
You're telling me Sarah Palin?
She will never speak again on this.
She will not acknowledge that ACES was a problem?
She will never speak again on it. She will shut.
What if she's asked?
She will shut her mouth.
What if she's asked?
She will say probably what Hollis French said, which was, well, I hope this works.
You don't think she'll come out and support Bill Walker?
I think she absolutely will. This is her only chance.
That'll be her speaking, though.
Her only chance. No, I'm talking about next year. After next year, when there's more oil in the pipeline, it's all done. The left is done. They're done in the state of Alaska for the next 20 years. They were wrong. They will be wrong. They will be proved wrong. But she's going to come out and support Bill Walker big time. This is her chance.
This is their last.
This is their last.
The only way that the Sarah Palins and
right.
the Bill Walkers and the Hollis Frenches and the Les Guerras and the useful idiots that they lead.
It's our oil, Dan. I don't understand why you don't understand that.
The only way they'll ever succeed is if they can cut off SB 21 before it gets a chance to work.
That's it.
And if they can get Walker in there and reignite this war on oil by this fall, then we'll never really know if taxes do deter investment.
This is the second test, and it's a much harder test because before we didn't have the deficit of having to run Sean Parnell. Sean Parnell is very problematic.
Prop 1 was not Sean Parnell. It was Prop 1.
Prop 1 was Prop 1, and you had all the evidence.
Yeah,
I mean, the
Tony
thing
Knowles
is,
and Lisa Murkowski.
All the evidence in the world on our side, on the people who said we can have a win-win with the oil industry.
Yes.
This is our way forward. They're going to get good profits, but we're going to get good taxes. All the evidence was on our side, and we still only barely won 53-47. You add into that the lack. Look, the oil companies are not going to spend $12 million on this. They may spend $1 million.
No, they'll spend as much as they need.
They'll spend money, but this has Sean Parnell in it, and he is problematic because he's such a bad spokesman for himself. He's terrible.
He's a mumbler.
He's a mumbler. Here's where I really fault him, by the way, if I was to reveal. His administration came out and said $2 billion is what we are going to lose out if we go with Senate Bill 21. I will not forgive him for that.
Well, it wasn't true.
It's not true, as it turns out. That what these are is based on projections. If we have 500,000 less barrels in the pipeline versus ACES, well, it turns out we have more.
They're being honest to a fault.
Well, but whatever the reason is, it doesn't make any difference because politics is understanding what people believe to be true is what's true. He allowed that to be spoken. He allowed it to be shared. He allowed it to come forth as the truth, and that's what we had to battle against the entire time, against this falsehood. We're losing $2 billion a year. We are $140 million. I want everyone who disagrees with me, and please, you're welcome to call. It's so important for us to discuss this. $40 million more in the Treasury this year, not less. Why? Because we did not experience a decline, and the most important thing, the number one factor for how Alaska succeeds is oil in the pipeline, because we get 1 out of every 8 barrels is direct income to the state of Alaska.
569-1080, 569-1080. Let me get your predictions. Bonnie, does Walker Malott beat Parnell Sullivan?
No.
Biegel.
I have no idea. Why would I have a prediction?
You know why?
I don't know anything about
so
it.
You said earlier, you wrote this comment on the ADN about how how could people vote for Walker Malott ticket, right? Because of the life issue.
What I wrote was that those who are pro-death culture are going to have to decide whether they hate the oil industry enough to temporarily abandon their affection for the death culture and support a pro-life candidate who equally hates the oil industry as much as they do.
And so I can't see how they would vote for Mark Begich, whose number one issue is women's issues, and for Bill Walker, who is pro-life.
Well, the question is, do you hate the oil industry enough to where you will abandon your promotion of the death culture? Because the hard left, man, it's all about the death culture for them.
No, I don't think so. I think it's all about hate.
Well, hating Israel, hating Christians.
Yeah, I think it's about hate.
Life.
As long as they can vote for something they hate, I think they're going to vote for it. I think hate overcomes.
The oil industry hatred.
Yes, absolutely.
Trumps everything.
Yeah, the distrust, the not believing there's a win-win. By the way, is Walker precisely the same candidate as Sarah Palin, just a man?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything significantly different between Sarah Palin and Bill Walker. On any issue, and it might be the minimum wage. I don't know if she's come out against the minimum wage.
I'm sure she probably favors it.
She's not as pro-union, is she?
Oh, she's pretty. Her husband's huge union guy.
Yeah, that's true. I think her husband's
but public employee union.
There's a guy named Brandon Joe Kelly who used to work at the Anchorage Press. He was a producer over at Channel 11, and he wrote on Facebook today that this was such a courageous thing to do. That this is people putting their political agenda above the state. And then he said at the little bottom of his comment, he said, and as far as Bill Walker, and I'm paraphrasing somewhat, I should look it up, but as far as Bill Walker's anti-women stands, I've talked with him in the past, and we don't have anything to worry about there.
Oh, so because he's always represented himself as completely pro-life.
Right. But, he could have said, who knows what that means. It'd be interesting to get Brendan on the show.
Well, the governor doesn't have, I guess, who you appoint as judges. It'd be very interesting to ask him, will you appoint pro-life judges when it comes down to it?
Well, you got the Denali Kid Care and the paying for abortions, and there's other limitations on abortion you could implement. There's plenty of opportunity.
Very little ever gets done. Sean Parnell is very pro-life, and he's done very little. I mean, it's just not that easy of an issue.
He tried to stop the half of all abortions being paid for by taxpayers. He did try to stop activist judges overrode him.
Yeah, he is trying. But, I mean, the fact is that they may just let that issue not do anything. But it's a great question to ask Walker.
Well, I agree with you, Glenn. I think the hatred is what drives the left, and hatred of the oil industry is probably going to be the thing that's going to really drive them to go out and support Walker, even though he has the audacity of
they vote
life.
As a block, Dan. They're not thinking about stuff. If Hollis French, who they consider to be, the Christ of the left, if he says this is the best we can do,
right?
Go out and do what I say. Go forth and multiply your vote. Honestly, you think they're going to disagree with Hollis French on this?
I'm surprised he's stepping aside. He wants it so bad.
That is incredible.
Well, he wasn't gonna win.
have never seen anything like this.
He wasn't going to win. He had no chance. He had zero chance of winning.
Yeah, but the thing is, it isn't necessarily about this time, because this ticket, I would say, is, if not favored, this is a 50-50 split. Nobody can possibly know which way this vote's going to go.
569-1080, 569-1080, 829, Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie. Fagan, Biegel, and Bonnie.
Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and online at 1080KOAN.com.
Local news brought to you by Jansen Funeral Homes, Jansen's Evergreen Memorial Chapel, Jansen's Alaska Cremation Center, and Jansen's Eagle River Funeral Home. Jansen Funeral Homes, where just like family, they're there when you need them.
With KOAN News, I'm Chuck White. Aftershocks were still being felt in the Fairbanks area over the Labor Day weekend after a 5.1 magnitude earthquake struck there on Saturday night. There were no reports of damage or injury, but residents in North Pole and elsewhere reported shaking that went on for about 10 seconds. Wasilla officials are considering the sale of a city-owned shopping complex, and Kenda has that report.
City Council approved the sale of Meadow Rose Square with a vote of 6-0, but may place conditions on the sale. Those conditions would be aimed at protecting the quality of the downtown area. A total value for the building and property was estimated at about $2 million.
Alaska will receive more than $20 million in fisheries disaster relief funds. It will help with the recovery from the low king salmon runs 2 years ago in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta and Cook Inlet area. That's your Hot Talk News update.
Sunshine and clouds with some afternoon rain, high 63. Cloudy with rain for the rest of your Tuesday, low 48. Mostly cloudy with a bit of rain Wednesday, high 60. Wednesday night, low 40. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 60. Friday, sun and clouds, high 59. Hot Talk, breaking news, and the latest weather. KOAN 95.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Chris here along with my buddy Brock. That's right. We're here to tell you to tune into The Beer Show every Saturday at 5 p.m. on 95.5 and 1080 KOAN. The Beer Show is brought to you by Brown Jug Alaska, Eagle River Ale House, Great Artisan Beverages, and the Odom Corporation. Please drink responsibly.
299-2896.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Every 19 minutes in this country, someone dies of an accidental prescription drug overdose. Most of the times, it involves an opiate. It is now more common than dying in a car crash. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. An opiate is a chemical derived from opium. That's the key ingredient in heroin. Pills like codeine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, they are opiate-like, but they are man-made. The problem with man-made opiates that mimic endorphins is if you take too many, they can overwhelm your system. They can give you too much of a rush. Americans consume 99% of the world's hydrocodone and 83% of the world's oxycodone. Addiction to these meds are a big problem because they can slow down breathing, they can slow down heart rate, and if you mix them with other things, they can slow down your entire body. Everything sort of comes to a halt. If you want to avoid that fate, don't ever take more than you're prescribed, don't use other people's prescriptions, and never mix it with alcohol. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Owning and caring for a home comes with a lot of to-dos. Fix the AC, build a deck, remodel the kitchen. Whatever your home improvement need, Home Advisor can help you find a pro you can trust to get the job done right. Go to home.homeadvisor.com for instant access to top-rated pros in your area, including electricians, handymen, remodelers, whatever type of home pro you need. Home Advisor is absolutely free to use. At Home Advisor, you don't have to search through a long list of pros. With just a few clicks, Home Advisor matches you with pros who provide the exact services you need. You can read customer reviews of the pros, even use the cost guide to find out what hundreds of other home projects cost in your area. And because Home Advisor knows it's important to find a pro you can trust in your home, they conduct background checks on their service professionals. It's just one of the reasons more than 25 million homeowners have used Home Advisor. Go to home.homeadvisor.com to find the right pro for your project. That's home.homeadvisor.
Did you know that one of the state's premier medical facilities is located right in the heart of South Anchorage? Thanks to the Alaska Neurology Center, there's no need to leave Alaska anymore when it comes to treating the nervous system. You'll receive the best care at the Alaska Neurology Center for epilepsy, cerebral palsy, brain injuries, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, multiple sclerosis, speech disorders, and they offer pain management as well. And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, the Alaska Neurology Center has the best sleep disorder experts in the state. They also have the most sophisticated MRI imaging technology in Alaska. If you need relief from stress or from migraines, relax in their luxurious spa. At the Alaska Neurology Center, their massage therapists are amazing, and they offer hydrotherapy, infrared sauna, hot and cold therapy, and shiatsu massage. And their medical spa also offers facials and waxing. The Alaska Neurology Center, located on Diamond and Old Seward.
What if buying your next car could actually be enjoyable? At Payless Car Sales, we believe it should be. If you're in the market for your next car, come by and meet our knowledgeable staff and explore our selection of quality vehicles. We offer military discounts, and we give all of our customers Carfax history reports. We can also provide warranties and handle all of your lending needs. Just like driving your car should be enjoyable, so should buying it. Visit us downtown at 919 East 5th Avenue or on our website at paylesssales.com. Payless Car Sales, where Alaskans drive.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel on Hot Talk KOAN and on Biegel. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, it's 8:35. 569-1080 is the number. 569-1080. Payless Car Sales, Ollie Sheik, our good friend. Go stop by his dealership over on 919 East 5th Avenue. Tell him Glenn and I sent you, and you're going to be thrilled at the opportunity you're going to have to really buy a car, truck, SUV that's top quality, something you're really proud of. And yet it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. Ollie Sheik has a great relationship with our military personnel. Of course, his dealership over there on 5th Avenue, it's not too far from the base, and he treats the military men and women really well. It's one of the reasons he's the fastest growing car dealership in the state of Alaska. He's now the second largest used car dealer in Anchorage. Ollie Sheik, Payless Car Sales, 919 East 5th Avenue. His number is 677-AUTO. 677-AUTO. Don't pay more, pay less. Payless Car Sales.
We got 30 schools in Anchorage giving out free food for all.
569-1080. 569-1080.
30 now. It's no longer 2.
Yeah, it's. I thought that's what she said in the report the other day, the Channel 11 gal.
I don't know. I thought I heard 12, but it's grown to 30 this year. So whoever it is, and by the way, we have one of the lowest instances of poverty in the country here in the city of Anchorage. Why do we have so many schools where such a large percentage of people qualify? Well, is it possible that they're filling out the forms improperly?
You know, I put something on Facebook on this, and Mark Colavecchio, who's a good guy, Bob and Mark, he went on there a couple of times, and his main argument is, all I know is kids should never starve. That's all I know. That was his whole argument.
And
I'll
he was
read
saying,
it for
I'm
you.
willing to pay the extra
Right.
money. Okay, well, good for
He's
you.
willing
then do
to
it.
pay.
But the whole thing is, no kids are starving.
Yep.
They
Right.
already got free food. Yeah. To say that, okay, we're not going to give the whole school free food, just in case there's one kid.
It's amazing. Here's Mark's piece. I said it before. I'll say it again. All caps. No American should go hungry. I do not mind paying for those children. Yes, someone pays for it, but we all pay for malnourished children. A child without a meal cannot learn effectively. Here's my response, by the way. Welcome to the Socialist Republic of Alaska. It is an obvious mistake to take the responsibility for feeding a child from the parents. Yes, children will eat whether we pay for their food or not. Poor people receive SNAP and other programs, so feeding their kids, not feeding their kids, is a choice, not a fact. But whoever heard of paying for rich children to eat? For the feelings of some others on free breakfast and lunch? That makes sense to the district, not to me.
569-1080, 569-1080. Pete, you're on.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Morning.
Hey, just a quick comment on Walker. I think one of the things that the Republican Party in general has really underestimated is how little people care about the Republican label. And that transfers over to Bill Walker. I mean, especially in Alaska, we don't really care what label you put on yourself as long as you represent what we want. I don't know if Bill Walker is one of those people who represents most of the people, but I think he is a pretty good threat because he'll probably be able to pull in the union vote, which is most of the Democrat vote in the state.
Yep.
And, it's the Republican Party is really disappointing with what they did with Lisa Murkowski and Joe Miller and what they did with the the leadership last fall throwing Russ and Let out and just putting whoever they want, ignoring what people want from them. So they've really I think they've cut their own throats. Everybody likes Sean Parnell, but it'll be an interesting race, I think, for sure.
But you think it'll be tight? You think it'll be neck and neck?
I don't know. I don't know much about Bill Walker. I know he's a populist, like you guys say. I doubt I would ever vote for him. But I know Parnell personally, so.
Is Sean going to have to come out and show us a little? Play a little game, up his game?
I think he will have to a little bit, just because, it's a Democrat vote, and I think Bill Walker can definitely pull in some of the people, the libertarians, and he's got all the Democrats, so he can get some crossover from people who would normally vote for Sean, I think.
Well, libertarians were no on one. The Libertarian Party came out as no on one.
What, all 2% of them?
Yeah. Most people consider themselves libertarians or conservatives. Nobody really, I know of, considers themselves a Republican. It's just they've cut.
I'm an established Republican, Pete. I'm the worst kind.
Yeah,
the enemy, the face of the enemy.
Yeah, nobody considers them enemies necessarily. It's just, they're a non-issue. If a Republican Party runs a good candidate, people will vote for him. If they don't, people will vote Libertarian or whatever party represents them the best.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Pete.
Yep.
Michael Chambers, bless his heart, bless his soul.
He's
the head of the Libertarian Party, right?
Yeah.
He sent me an email, Facebook, that it's one day his dream that he and I can be friends and I can respect the Libertarian Party and, kumbaya and all that. Look, I know I'm already in hot water today, but this is a party that is playing Switzerland on the major issues of our day. This is a party who elected a guy as their nominee because they thought he was somebody. They thought he was somebody else. And
is that really what happened?
It had to be.
I understand.
It had to be. They thought it was Bill Walker. So this Walker guy who beat
Mark Fish, a well-known libertarian.
Well-known
amongst libertarians.
An unknown.
No, that's true.
And so now Mark Fish is the party nominee because they had to have the other guy quit because he accidentally got elected. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you what most people would consider a joke of a party.
Yeah. That is going to be one that's going to be tough to live down.
Yeah, but Pete was talking about the nonpartisan undeclared.
I know that. But I'm talking about the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
You want to kill babies? I don't really care. Don't bother me with that. I'm more worried about marijuana being legal. Party. Come on.
It's a tall order for them to say that they're going to take over anything. The question for me, though, is, and this is what I was looking at as the most important part of this, the Democrats went into the back of the bus, and that includes Hollis French, who's a very, very proud left-winger. And they got behind somebody who is far more conservative. I went out and looked at Bill Walker's site. He's got probably 50-50 conservative versus liberal issues. He's for the minimum wage. He was for yes on one. So, clearly...
What's he conservative on? Wasn't pro-life.
Well, the life issue was one, fish management. He's not for native subsistence rights overriding the Constitution.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and so there's 3 or 4 things in here which you look at and you say, Second Amendment, he's going to be strong on that one. Pebble Mine, he wants them to have a public process.
Well.
There are some surprising, striking, shocking things here that I was surprised to see that Hollis French had the humility to step aside.
Well.
So anyway.
8:44 is the time. 569-1080. 569-1080. We'll be back.
Don't just sit there. Give them a call. 569-1080. On the station. KOAN.
Hi, this is Jonathan Martin with Harrington and Company. I'm looking for a qualified buyer with a 90% letter from his lender. I have a 3-bedroom, bath and a half, single-car garage with carport on a large single-family lot in East Anchorage. It is priced in the mid-200,000s. It needs only a little bit of TLC. Please call me, Jonathan Martin at Harrington and Company, 244-0821. That's Jonathan Martin at Harrington and Company, 244-0821.
Who was the last Alaska governor to see 16,000 new jobs created on his watch? Was it Wally Hickel, Jay Hammond, Bill Egan? The last governor to see 16,000 new jobs is our current governor, Sean Parnell. Alaska is in the middle of a jobs boom. Since Sean Parnell took office, the Alaska economy has produced some 16,000 new jobs. And you can bet there are more jobs coming. Listen to Jim Huffman, president of a trucking company in Fairbanks.
This year we are buying new trucks, hiring new people. I could put 20 truck drivers to work tomorrow if we could find them. I give the credit to Governor Parnell.
Alaska's economy is back on track. 16,000 new Alaska jobs since Sean Parnell became our governor. That's why Parnell 2014. Box 100719 Anchorage paid for this message.
As an employer, you know valuable employees help grow your business. That's why you should plan to attend the annual job fair on September 10th, brought to you by Alaska Integrated Media and Alaska Dispatch News. We'll be at the Egan Center from 10:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you want the chance to reach today's workforce, grab a booth. There are still spots available. Just send an email to jobfair@adn.com to register or for more information. Plan to come to the Egan on September 10th and find the next star of your team.
You're on with Fagan
And Anchorage paid for this message.
You're on with Fagan and Biegel in the morning on the...
All right, welcome back. 847, Fagan, Biegel, Bonnie. Let's, I'll be honest, folks. I think it's going to be tough for Parnell to win this because, and as most of you know now, that Byron Malott and Bill Walker have decided to run together. You know, you got the left who hates big oil and Parnell, so they're all going to be 100% in for the Walker ticket, even though Bill Walker's pro-life. You got the Native community; they're going to vote with Byron Malott. And then you got, basically you got the business community. They'll all be behind Parnell because he's done a great job cleaning up Sarah Palin's mess. I think he's had a great job as a governor. But he's really a bad candidate. I mean, a really bad candidate. The only person he's really beaten is Ethan Berkowitz, who is a left-winger from Berkeley, California.
Right.
If you can't beat a left-winger from Berkeley, California, then you can't beat anybody. He lost to Don Young. Don Young.
It was pretty close, though. What was that? Was it 52-48?
Yeah, but it's Don Young, man.
Yeah.
This guy's got more back. And this is back when there was these rumors he's going to be indicted in 10 minutes.
Right.
So he's never really proven himself an able candidate. And then when you've got all of the factions, you got the labor unions, the natives, the leftists, the anti-oil, it's our oil group. And there are people who, that's just a lot of people.
I wonder how Walker is going to play the Senate race. I wonder if he's going to come out and say, I'm not voting for Mark Baker.
Well, there'd be no reason for that. That would be crazy for him to do that.
Okay,
why
so
would you isolate yourself?
He's going to be quiet about that.
Of
Who do you
course.
think he's going to vote for?
Oh, I think he'll vote for Sullivan.
Okay. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. Walker. I think Walker will vote for Sullivan. Yeah, I don't think, there's no reason to isolate voters unnecessarily.
No, I agree.
Just like Begich was brilliant in not saying he was going to vote for Prop 1. That was very smart. And it frustrated a lot of us, but it was really intelligent to do that. So I think what we're going to do, so here's the question that I have for both of you. We know Bill Walker does not care for the oil industry. He thinks we should go to war with them. It's a very adversarial position. He's Sarah Palin in a pair of slacks. Will he succeed if he gets elected in doing what Sarah Palin was very good at, which is reducing the amount of volume of oil in the pipeline? Or will the legislature stand up to him and refuse to let him reignite the war against the oil industry?
I think that if Bill Walker gets in and he lays on, the legislature is not enough to make the oil industry, because if you don't believe in a win-win, I don't know that. I'm leaving open the possibility that Walker see win. I want to hear him say what he wants. If he wants just the oil tax structure, if he doesn't change it, the tax structure. I'm very interested in hearing more from him. Now, we take it on faith that he would like a much higher oil tax structure, a much higher rural TS1. So we take it on faith, but I'm willing to listen. I'd like to hear what he has. The legislature's just not strong. Our governor in the state of Alaska has amounts of power. He can organize commissioners. He can organize the entire government structure, the permitting structure. He can veto anything. Yeah. Look, taxes are not enough. And the oil industry even said this. If it weren't for the fact that our government decade the last needs would not us this and this legislation may change Star Wars. I knew that walked in is really dedicated to back to we want to and ask us if we have a win relationship not any good morning, Parnell Party. All right. He's so
legislature now, do we know how with that, you know, vision, and I don't know if that's
yeah.
We that says
It's very no, outrageous. No, you're
we're back. There were so many. No.
You think
is gas pipe and is oh I we do Winston and needs the thing is oh I the no getting and the take one for and was going on
How would do this? Well, like
he will think on which is yeah
$1,000. That's is it. What is it?
gotta not is him oh where is and it's still lightning for union. Names, by the way, this is such a good law. They're gonna retain. They're gonna allow people. You know,
They're
mayor is gonna win.
Tuning in